Hey, Rugbyhub viewers, welcome back at Fox Sports Studios with your favorite rugby channel, Rugby Hub. It is great to be back and ready for another weekend of rugby. Actually, Jock Nienaber, coach of South Africa, that will be his last home game on South African soil before passing on the reins. Gabsy, it is great to see you. I see you rocking the V-neck, me with the sleep neck, and getting ready for a great pod. How are you?
Yes, no, it's a lovely work shirt, this actually. No, Guri, lovely to be back. Lovely to be back in Fox Studios.
Mm,
Really such an honor. Can't believe they've kept us here for such a long time now. But yeah, no, really excited for this last round of the Rugby Championship. Of course, there's some rugby next weekend as well, but this is the final round of the Rugby Championship. And it's
mm,
all to play for, the All Blacks right now, obviously the favorites to win the tournament. But let's not forget, should Eddie Jones and his men cause an upset, then the Boks can still take it. And actually, the Los Pumas, they're also still in it. Obviously, that would take quite a miracle, but they need to hammer the Boks. The Wallabies needs to beat the All Blacks, and the Los Pumas could win their first ever rugby championship.
mm.
That's the headline right there. No,
All to play for,
yeah,
Gabsy. All to play
all
for.
to play for. Yeah, no, all
Yeah.
to play for really.
So, just on that note, obviously, it is a shortened rugby championship in a World Cup year, so which means it's only these three games. The first one will be the Bledisloe Cup between the All Blacks and the Wallabies, which we will touch on towards the end of the pod. And then, obviously, the main game and the main focus for us is the Springboks. Gabsy, how does that
Yes,
team look? Are we happy?
let's go straight into that then. Yeah, I mean we see a couple of changes.
Mm,
Malcolm Marx finally probably the best hooker in the world, finally getting a start. You see Marvin Ori coming in there, new halfback combination with Grant and Lebok. Lots of changes in the backline all over.
a
We
new look.
we've asked for it, a new look team. People have asked for Colby and Orense, and they've got it. Let's see what's happening this weekend. I mean, Goran, my main thing is lots of rotation. I mean, what is really
Mm.
going on with all this rotation? Is there really a reason for this? Where does it come from?
Um, Gabs, well, the first thing being, and I think we saw it in that All Black game where the both of us were wrong in our predictions. I can already see you looking at the stats up there. But no. So the Super Rugby ended fairly recently. So I think the All Blacks were quite match fit and ready to go. Whereas I think many of the Springboks obviously play their trade, in the northern hemisphere or in Japan even. So I think getting game time for these players is Jock Nienaber's main concern at this moment. I think we our depth in the Springbok squad is almost second to none. I think maybe France also has very good depth, but the Springboks have really an incredible group of players. So now it's more about selecting the right combination of these talented players and seeing that you can get the best results out of every one of them, and that is also including then game time and getting used to playing again with each other, because they don't do that in the competitions necessarily together. So
Yeah.
I think that's why we see so much rotation. I think we've used a lot of players.
Yeah, I just want to, I think I just want to correct you that you said our depth in the Springbok squad is second to none. I mean, you probably mean that we have a lot of depth. I just, sorry, just for our viewers, you've probably been focused so hard on our depth that you said that, but obviously we have got a lot of
I'm
depth
out
in the
of my
Springbok squad.
depth, if you want
You're out
to.
of your depth. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, but I mean, like looking at that selection, would you say this is possibly, one of our best loose trios at the moment? Looking at, Van
Yeah.
Staden playing with Peter Steph Dwayne. I mean, obviously Sia's not available for selection.
Yeah, so Sia is obviously still out, and so that number six jersey, the South African number six jersey, however, is currently, Marco
Being
van Staden's
occupied.
list. It's occupied by Marco van Staden, which is second to none. No, but I think as a combination, those three players, obviously they performed very well, those three against Australia, and getting the good results. Dwayne Vermeulen getting back to form, which is obviously very pleasing to see for everyone. And also Peter Steph. I think he took a little bit of a dip last year
No,
around with the
agree. Yeah,
end of year tour, but he's looking very good again. So
yeah.
I mean, I think this is the best loose trio, yeah, that we've selected. But Gabsy, I mean, um, talking about the sort of new look backline that we currently have, right?
Yeah.
The conditions at Ellis Park, playing there. What style of rugby are we expecting to see, from the
I
Springboks?
mean, yeah, I mean, so first of all, Ellis Park, obviously a bit more of a dry pitch, at least not anything like the Cape Town Stadium, because we've seen what a
Yeah.
disaster it was to play there towards the end of the URC. But no, I think with the team selection, you can expect a bit more running rugby. Shoot the forwards, give the backs some front foot ball. I mean, with the selection of Grant Williams and Manny Lebok in there, and then finally seeing
Mm,
Orange and Colby on the wings with Willie at the back, I think it's an exciting backline, and I definitely would imagine that we would expect to have a go at them and run the ball a bit, try one or two new set pieces, maybe try to do a bit of running rugby. I would expect less
mm,
kicking with Grant Williams at 9. Also looking at the conditions, it's actually going to be fairly nice. 12 to 22 degrees on Saturday in Johannesburg, so that's
mm.
really like ideal conditions. And like I said, it's a dry pitch. It's known for good running rugby, and I think with this team selection, we can definitely expect also to see quite a fair bit of running rugby. You also have three backs on the bench, with the likes of Damien Willems, Lucanio who I would expect to come on for Jesse Creel after 6 minutes, hopefully. And then, yeah, I mean, you also have Faf de Klerk on the bench there.
Stacey.
Um, anyways, yeah, no, so I'm very excited to see these guys in action. I mean, I guess Manny
Mm.
Lebok needs another shot out there in that 10
Yeah, that's my
jersey.
question, and I think that's the question on a lot of the Springbok fans' minds is we have a bit of an issue now at 10, right?
Yeah.
And that is such an important position in any team, let alone your national side. We counted on Andre Pollard always being fit, but in this case, if something were to go wrong, he's not available for the World Cup, or if he gets injured, are we comfortable enough to put Mani Libok, starting the World Cup final?
Let's just take it a step back there, Gordon. I mean, we're not at a World Cup final just yet. I think, for me
Uh,
personally, Damien Willems has been selected in the squad as the second choice 10. I think it's very unfair because, he has to do everything at this stage. He has to play 12, he has to play 15, then he has to start a game at 10. I haven't played 10
and
all
what's his
season.
best position?
I mean, I think he's played phenomenal rugby at 12, but there's no space for him at 12
It's
at
true.
this stage, with
Yeah,
the
he's
island.
great.
And for me personally, Andre Esterhuizen, I really think he deserves a chance in that World
Yeah,
Cup
he's
squad.
running the door down
Um,
for that selection spot. Yeah, he'll
ex-
probably go
e-
next week.
Exactly. I mean, I really hope he gets more game time. He's phenomenal. So for me, Damien Willems is very much playing now the Frans Steyn role, covering 10, 12, 15. He can play on the wing. He can basically play everywhere. He could probably even, go into to the lock position if you need him there. But no, I mean, I think really to answer your question, I think it's a matter of giving Lebok a bit more match fitness, giving game time, get some more
Yeah.
international experience under his belt. Hope to see more and more composed. He played phenomenal against Australia. And I
Mm.
wouldn't be surprised to see him feature in some of the warm up games. And until Pollard is fit again, I think Libok should be the guy to kind of back, because we've seen Willemse didn't look quite as comfortable, and rightly
Mm.
so. You can't just expect the guy to slot in at 10 against the All Blacks and do everything perfectly. He's been
Yeah,
playing
he's
his
got
rugby
so
at
much
12.
talent
Yeah.
that
Um,
you try to overutilize the player in
no,
positions that is not
definitely.
his
I mean,
strength.
and sadly, I think a lot of people ask, why didn't, I mean, this is a bit off topic, why didn't Willems go on 15 and give Willie a rest, because this was the perfect game to do so. We'll
Mm.
probably see that next week. I think, it's still all to play for. And with this, I would also like to slowly transition over to the next game, which is, the Wallabies and the All Blacks. Because I think what you can see there is when we look at the All Blacks team selection, they've selected their best team, their strongest team, because
Mm.
this is still all to play for. The championship is still on the line. And it's a nice confidence booster before the World Cup. So I think we've also done the same thing. Like, I'm going to quote my favorite words of Jacques Ninoba. We've selected a team that we think can win this weekend, and that's probably what they've done.
Yeah, I
So
mean, if he doesn't say that, he's fired.
yeah, so I mean, let's take it there. Gritty, prediction on this game for you, Springboks, Los Pumas.
Um, I'm gonna go Springboks by 15. I think it's gonna be a good running show. You?
I'm going for the Springboks to take this one 40 points to 3, exact score. Um,
Exact score.
my
No.
blood is green. All right. So
Let's
that's my
quickly
37
check the
points.
Argentinian squad that has just been announced as we are recording this right now. You guys can check it. It's up on the screen. Gabsy, with regards to this Argentinian squad, right? Michael Cheika has gone on to do a job in Australia last week. They were unable to get their home victory against the All Blacks. They now come against the Springboks? What are we expecting from them?
I mean, to be honest, for them, it's, really all to play for. I think they can actually still win the championship if the stars align. I mean, they've beaten the Boks. It's been a long time ago, but they've done it before. I won't
2015, just before World Cup
exactly. I'll
in
never
Durban.
write them off, but I just don't think that they can beat us this weekend. And to be honest, I don't have much to add on them. I think they did well to fight back in that game last weekend, and they scored a try right at the end to stun the Aussies.
Mm,
But I
mm,
think it's a different task to come and play South Africa at Ellis Park. So
yeah.
you see a few changes in that team, but we're not going to really dig into it. You can see it on the screen. I think you can expect them to come out and, do what they do best, and is probably, try and make a soft up front, take the one or two chances they get. But I would hope that we have the majority of
I
the
love
ball
how
there,
you say try. But
Yeah.
regardless, they have shown very good showings in the second halves of both games. I mean, they came from behind in the Australian test to actually clinch the win, and against the All Blacks, they actually won that second half. It's just a question of starting well, and is Michael Checker going to be able to unlock the best out of his team? To start well and be consistent over a few games. Looking forward to this World Cup.
Yeah.
Regardless, Gabs, let's move forward. Obviously, the
Bledisloe
other
round one.
big
What do you want to
one,
say?
Bledisloe round one. Yeah. Look, I don't think they've. No, they haven't. Australia haven't had the Bledisloe in 20 years, which
Ouch.
I don't necessarily think will change this weekend. I will be rooting for Australia, however. Sorry, Kiwi fans, we need them to do us a favor, us being the Springboks. Last year, Gabsy.
Are you a Springbok
Um,
fan? I would have never guessed that.
yeah, sorry.
Yeah, no, I mean, last year was obviously quite controversial with that lovely French ref that had the whistle in his hand 2 weeks ago. But
Mm.
yeah, obviously, what happened there was Bernard Foley apparently not hearing, and he didn't kick the ball out. It was a scrum, and the All
Just
Blacks won
say
the
it
game.
was time wasting. You don't
It
have
was
to.
time wasting. Anyways, let's go into this year. The past is the past. New man,
Mm,
Eddie Jones, 0 out of 2. Great track record this year so far. Has an answer for
it's
everything.
harsh.
I loved a new favorite sentence from Eddie Jones the other day in a post-match conference. He said
Mm.
to the press in there, "You know what? You're just a fan with a keyboard in your hand," and I had to laugh. the guy,
I
the
mean, we
guy is
love these
sour.
kind of characters in our
Yeah.
game, don't we?
Of
Yeah.
course, of course. But team selection this week, Goran,
Mm,
we see quite an exciting change.
mm.
I mean, you pointed it out. Only 280 caps, and that's 23 for the Wallabies.
Yeah,
And you
it's a very
see
young team.
exactly, you see the likes of Tate McDermott and Carter Gordon, subscriber of
Mm,
the pod, getting a
yes.
getting a go there. What do you think of that? What do you make of that?
Well, I don't think Eddie Jones has ever, shied away from picking young players in big moments such as this. This will definitely be the biggest game that Carter Gordon has faced. And he'll gain much respect for his mullet, and I think that's the most important thing that he would want to get out of
You
this
and
game.
Carter's
He's got
mullet.
Quade Cooper on the bench who will provide some cover, and then some young lads, Tom Hooper getting a crack again. So I don't think they can do it, unfortunately. But
Don't
maybe
say
a very
that. Don't
fearless
say that.
side
Don't
of
say that.
Australia can, and it's always a tight game for the Bledisloe. I think that the score last year was 36-34, obviously in favour then of the All Blacks. On that last minute try. So it's always a tight affair and lovely rugby to watch. So you guys should check it out. Then with regards to the All Blacks, it looks like a very comfortable
It's a
squad,
consistent team,
18
consistent
consistent.
selection.
Yeah, some
I
changes there.
Yeah, I just wanted to add quickly, Gordy. I used to remember one thing. That MCG stadium is going to be packed with expected 80 plus thousand fans, whether that's all Wallabies, we don't know. But I really hope that they can do us a favor. I just wanted to add that. I really hope the Wallabies and Eddie
Yeah,
Jones can do us a favor. But yeah, back to the All
biggest
Blacks.
crowd since 2007
Yeah,
for
no,
this
it's,
test. Yeah.
yeah. So
Regardless, Gabsy, looking at that AB squad, I think Cam Roygaard gets a start, and he's a
No,
very exciting player.
not a start. You mean he's getting into
Sorry,
the
he's on the
squad?
bench.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
sorry, he's on the bench. And he's a very settled player, exciting player, who plays his rugby. Was it
The
for the
Hurricanes.
Hurricanes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But for the rest, it looks very settled. And Sam Whitelock is back as well. So let's
It's
see
just
what they
without
can do
the
this weekend.
the only big thing there is obviously without the captain. Papali is coming in and Sam Kane is
Populi
out.
for Kane.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but other than that, really settled squad. I think they're just showing, we're going out to do the job. We're going out to win the championship. We're taking
Uh,
this very serious. We'll make our rotation. We'll bring the DMAC back next weekend. We'll make our changes next weekend. But we've got
yeah.
a job to
Yeah.
do. So, yeah,
Yeah.
just because we
Anyways,
really need it, I'm gonna select the Wallabies to win
the
by 3
Aussies.
points. They have to do
Anything can
it.
happen in this game. I think the
Give
bookers
it
have
to
it by
us.
18 for the All Blacks, but I will go with the All Blacks.
You're
Let's
so
hope the
boring.
Aussies
You're
got the
so
favor.
boring. So boring.
Then again, guys, firstly, thank you guys so much. Subscribe to the pod if you guys enjoy the content. We've already got 500 plus, so very proud of that. Started a year ago, Gabsy. How much fun!
Yeah.
And we look at us now in Fox Sports Studios with a sleep neck and a V neck. So that's
Yeah.
really exciting
I
stuff.
just have to say
Um,
thanks to all the continued support we've been receiving. I mean, 500 plus subs is actually not too
yeah.
bad for two amateur pundits. Anyways,
And then
yeah,
also congrats to Shark Boy on the top of our leader chart there for the Super Brew Rugby Championship. Guys, go check us out on Instagram. We'll come back with another episode every week on the world up until the World Cup. So see you guys and enjoy the rugby this weekend. Gabsy.
thank you. Goody.